Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned. Albino ranks every waifu and metaphor ReFantazio from worst to best. Spoilers abound, so proceed accordingly. My first ever waifu ranking was for the lovely ladies of Persona 5, and now another Atlas game has my undivided attention. Over the last 9 days, I put 84 hours into this game, and I'm hoping to get enough views to mimic a semblance of overtime pay. So starting from worst and working our way to best. Number worst, Sanctoris Joanna. Did everyone forget that this bitch orchestrated the live consumption of dozens of children to feed her evil human dinosaur baby? After we defeat it, she acts all repentant for her actions, and then by the time she arrives as our head for the contest, our party members have basically forgiven her. Oh man, we know how hard it is to lose a child. We're glad you're taking this opportunity to confess. It almost feels like you've been punished enough. I think it was a bit abrupt for her to be publicly executed on the spot after her confession, but like, we do not need to be mourning this woman. Everyone's all downtrodden like she wasn't a mass murderer of toddlers. Now, in an alternate timeline where her real baby didn't get its throat slit by the nanny, would Joanna be a good waifu? Perhaps. She's not unattractive, but once you see that crazy side of her, I'm not able to just sweep that under the rug after a couple of Hail Marys. Number 10, Yufa. What that third eye doing though? If Yufa tells you to look into her eyes, do you tilt your head diagonally? Do you have to cycle between locking two eyes at a time and just swap your gaze around to accommodate them all? Maybe she should put that bucket back on her head. Fair warning, if you decide to shoot your shot with a Mastari, you're gonna be dating this. One thing this game does not seem interested in, as opposed to Persona 5, is romance of any kind. Yufa is the only character who is overtly interested in you in a way that is communicated better than just some vague teehee throwaway nonsense. June is like, oh, maybe I'll think differently of you later. Katharina has precisely one mild flirt line that is instantly disposed of. Brigitte only likes you when she's suicidal, and nobody else even hints at anything. So I guess your character is stuck with this tricycle-eyed pagan savage. She looks like her face rolled a 3. I was so disappointed that we got this walking sacrifice as a playable character instead of Katharina. I'm being overly harsh because I do like her open-mindedness and willingness to help people of differing faiths, including her take on religion in general, but I gave her virtually no screen time in my party because I just did not want her. Number 9, Brigitte. I was wondering if we were going to get some Kawakami action here with an older lady. The middle ranks of her follower bond kind of seem like it might go that way, but instead we have to stop her from going on murderous rampages and snap her out of her depressed nihilism until she adopts a couple of Uchief children and becomes a bat lady. Personally, if I found the people who stole her dog, I would maim them to within an inch of their lives, even though they didn't hurt it. You abscond with my dog, I bury you with its bones. Brigitte is a rich and powerful woman, which are attractive qualities in a waifu, but she's a spinster in the making. Number 8, Saint Rella. What an arc this chick had, am I right? Probably the most complicated character in the waifu list. She comes off as this gentle and gifted healer, then we find out she was forced to kill the prince at age 12 by Sanctifex Forden under the threat of her adopted sister Juna's death, but only managed to curse him into a coma instead, becoming the living catalyst for his continued suffrage, as the curse can only end when the caster is killed. She has this mwahaha, I'm the real villain moment for about 10 seconds, before we learn of all the surrounding justifiable circumstances, but then she willingly acquiesces her life after we prove we're strong enough to stop Louise by killing her frosty dragon. All this over the course of like half an hour. I'm not gonna say she's not pretty, but this might be too much character development for me. Saint Rella's got some baggage, I'd rather leave it unclaimed. Number 7, Hulkenberg. I just simply cannot abide the name Hulkenberg for someone who is not 600 pounds of green muscle. Why did we get the downgraded Hulkenberg? When you watch the anime flashback of her trying to protect the prince when she was younger, she's a stunner with her shorter orange and definitely not red hair. One thing to do when Hulkenberg's on screen as you play the game is count how many different hair colors she shows up with. I swear she gets like 6 different shades depending on the lighting. This Hulkenberg I would put in the top 3, but unfortunately we're stuck with this Hulkenberg. Number 6, Gallica. I know what you're thinking, but Sunburned Albino, how would you and Gallica get down to business? She would do her best, alright? And she could use her iPod spell to put on some music to help the mood. Some people think Gallica is annoying, but those are just the people who have to listen to her in battle, which is everyone. I know my party member is dead, and I know what steps are necessary to rectify the situation, thanks. Also, can you tell me for the 57th time what being hexed does? I say that, but there's so many status effects in this game that I do kind of appreciate the reminder. I like when she chides characters for missing their attacks. She'll be like, what the hell was that, Heismay? Or, goddamn, Stroll, you're a fucking embarrassment. Outside of battle, though, I think she's a good guide and companion, leagues above Morgana. Number 5, Lena. Do not ask me to elaborate. Number 4, Agrica. Agrica is the fairy that guides you through the late-game dragon trials, encouraging you to take on some of the most bullshit encounters in the game. Want to fight a dragon that reflects every single type of damage besides Almighty? Agrica will gleefully show you the way. I had to catch this recording of her and zoom in because I knew this chick would be nowhere on Google image search. You never get a really good look at her, but just from this I can tell she's prettier than Gallica, so more power to her. Number 3, Juna. I was all set to be a Juna simp until I progressed in her bond rank and discovered the secret of the Nydia race, which is that they are all fucking babushka dolls who use illusion magic to disguise themselves as regular people. Look at this shit. How do you see this and then just go back to minding your own business? The most lusted after celebrity in Metaphor is secretly a gremlin with a forehead of prophecy. It's weird and wacky and interesting, but it's like the most massive turnoff I've ever seen. Like, it would be fun and positive to see what Alonzo looks like in his Nydia true form, because I have no romantic aspirations there. But Juna is like the final boss of, am I still cute with no makeup on? The only reason she's still third is if I go full Eternal Sunshine and erase the memory of me seeing her like that. Otherwise, I do have a thing for talent and female Irish accents, and the fantasy of being a power couple, so she hits those notes like the songstress she is. Number 2, Fabienne. I would like to start off by saying I am not a furry. It is by mere coincidental circumstance that parapuses happen to be the hottest female race, at least the ones who have names. Fabienne is a great cook who selflessly looks after Maria and has all the sought-after qualities of a housewife, or a restaurant wife as the case may be. Despite not being important enough to be a follower, I used Maria's hangouts as an excuse to get closer to Fabienne, who continued to feed me delicious meals that would keep any man satisfied, as I pondered when would be an appropriate time to slide into the DMs after Griez's death. That dude didn't even have his own archetype. He had to borrow a hand-me-down. I'll show Fabienne what a king can offer. Number 1, Katharina. The best waifu in Metaphor ReFantazio is Katharina. My number 2 and 1 waifus are both a parapus, and there's nothing to extrapolate from that, so I wouldn't even bother. It is an absolute crime that this woman is not a playable party member. She has her own archetype and everything. Give her to me. They compromise with you by letting her come to certain dungeons after you max out her rank, where she deals the first blow in combat relative to the enemy's max HP. I certainly felt something after she stepped up to one of the trial dragons and did a whopping 5,000 opening damage to it. My fucking hero. Maybe she should have been king. She's got more power than Luis could dream of. I think it's bullshit that none of her skills use HP when you fight her. My brawlers have to go on life support after every attack, but her skills have no HP cost? What a legend. Put her in my party right now. Can we get some Katharina DLC, like how Persona 5 Royal added a new playable character? I wonder if her character is a nod to Quatharin from one of Atlas's other games called Catherine Full Body. They look almost identical. I just hope they left out the dick. But that's going to do it for this waifu ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Watch all my other videos in your true Nydia forms, and I'll see you guys next time.